Thanks everyone for stopping by and welcome to today's webinar, Own Rental Properties Without Headaches and Hassles with MAPS coach Heidi 4. Please note this meeting is being recorded and will be available within 24 hours on the MAPS YouTube channel. We will share the link in the chat momentarily. Currently, everyone's on mute. However, we do value group participation, so we ask that if you have any questions for Heidi, please type them into the chat box. Following the meeting, if you have any questions about today's call or our other coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. And that's all for me, Heidi. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for being here today. I am so excited and passionate about this topic. I absolutely love owning rental properties as a way to replace active income with passive income. And until you have a property manager that does everything, it's not truly passive income, is it? It's just replacing one job with another. So if we're trying to have passive income be the ultimate goal and use our rental properties as a way to replace our job income, we've got to find some ways to spend less time in that other job of owning rental properties. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how to own rental properties without it feeling like another job or without it being another job, and making owning rental properties be as headache-free as possible. When I talk with people about rental properties and the properties that I own in my portfolio, they're like, oh my gosh, I could never do that. That just sounds awful to me. That sounds like a bunch of headaches. Renters are calling you every day. You don't get, your nights and weekends off. And that's true if you don't have a property manager. And there are still ways, though, that you can own your rental properties and have some systems in place so that you're not spending too much time managing them. So that's what we're going to get started talking about today, is owning rental properties. My name is Heidi 4. I've been a realtor for 20 years. I've been a MAPS coach for 7 years. And as a MAPS coach, I help people bring in income through their real estate career. And I help them budget where their money is going to go. And we make a plan for how the savings is going to be invested. So I'm a financial coach, I'm a business coach, and my favorite place for investing money is in residential rental properties. I have 55 units that I can rent out, and I bought them all since 2018. In this low market where it's been interesting to find properties. And I'm going to share with you through today's webinar and other videos how I found them, how I paid for them, and how I maintain them and manage them. So today's topic is just going to be on the maintaining and managing piece of it. Before you take action on any of my videos, please talk to an attorney, talk to an accountant, talk to a financial planner, and talk to a realtor, because not everything that I teach applies to everybody. All of our situations are unique. So what you're going to get out of today's session is some options, some decisions that you can make to help you buy rental properties and own them with less hassles than expected. So the options we're going to talk through today are the do-it-yourself method. If you want to save money by managing your properties yourself, great. I'm going to show you some apps and websites that can help you. And I'm going to talk through some systems that you'll want to put in place to help you be organized and efficient so that you know what's happening with each property. Maybe you decide, after talking through today all the things that need to be done, maybe you decide I really need to hire an assistant to help me with this, and maybe they could also help me with my other job. Or you might say, I love this idea of owning rental property, but I'm just going to hire a property management company to do it all. And so we'll talk through that as well, and what to expect from property managers. Now, remember that today is just a 30-minute sample of an 8-hour course that I teach. The course that I teach is called Fund Your Big Life Through Residential Rental Properties. So we're just kind of water skiing on the surface today. If you really want to scuba dive on this topic, please sign up for the full 8-hour, 8-week course. It's an hour a week for 8 weeks. Let's jump in, shall we? Let's talk about tools you can use to help you manage properties yourself. If you decide you're going DIY, do it yourself, I'm going to self-manage my properties, I can handle it. So here are some things that you can do to do things more efficiently. Here are some websites. First of all, Deal Check is a residential real estate specific site that you can use to measure performance. And I'll show you some examples of this in a minute. There is a free version, there's a paid version. QuickBooks is definitely paid, but it is a generic bookkeeping program it's not real estate specific, but you can use it to measure the success of your properties month over month, year over year. Other websites that you can use for bookkeeping is there's one called stessa.com, which is assets spelled backwards, very clever. And in there you can put in your income and your expenses, and it will tell you how your properties are performing, and it can help you with your money management. And Google Sheets if you just like using spreadsheets. So those are some bookkeeping ones. Now, if you're just looking for a website that will just run applications for you because you've decided that you can go find your own tenants, but you just need a way to screen tenants and process applications, you might try myrental.com. That's a website that's what they do. And you can actually set it up so that either you pay for it or the tenant, the applicant, can pay for it. And as soon as the applicant pays for it and they fill in their information, you will get a credit report, a background check, a list of all the places they've lived. So you can use myrental.com for that. Another place where you can get that applications and screening help is turbotenant.com, buildium.com, and rentready.com. And in a few minutes, I'll show you what those websites look like. Those are some places that offer that, but they also do a lot more than the applications and screening. What's nice about myrental.com is there's not a monthly fee to it. It's just paid per screening, and the applicant, you can make it so the applicant pays. You might be able to do some local screening through your local law enforcement websites. There are some cities or counties where you can go look up people's records online. You could also have them send you their credit report if they already have their credit report online without charging you or them. I prefer, though, having the tenant pay for it and getting the application sent to me. Here are some websites where tenants can report maintenance issues and they can pay their rent. These are property management websites for landlords. If you have a ton of properties, it might make sense for you to use Buildium. They have a large platform that does a lot of stuff, but it's also more expensive. If you just have a few rental properties, you should consider RentReady or TurboTenant. Evaluate those two and see which of those you like better, and I'll show you what they look like in a few minutes. So there's a few tools. So whenever we're trying to be more efficient with something, we want to ask ourselves, am I missing a tool that could help me with this, a system that could help me with this, or a person that could help me with this? People, tools, and systems can help us be more organized and efficient. So when I think of the word systems, I think of checklists, procedures, and policies. I think of things that are duplicatable. To me, that's what systems are. Things that are like a checklist, a process that's duplicatable, that happens the same way every time. And by following it, it ensures that balls don't get dropped, things don't get unchecked, things don't get forgotten. So here are some ideas for you if you're going to manage your property yourself to be more organized and efficient. Have a checklist for move in and move out. Every time a property becomes vacant, have a checklist. This is what I do to prepare for the next tenant. Every time someone moves out and every time someone moves in, here's what I do now that I have a tenant. Every time that you purchase a property, have a checklist. Here's what I do every time I purchase a property before it closes. Here's what I do every time I purchase a property after it closes. And keep those procedures in a policy and procedures manual. This is a binder of the checklist, the things that you do the same way every time. it will do two things. One, it will keep you organized. And also, if you decide to hire an assistant in the future, your assistant can then follow those checklists in that binder. The other thing you're going to need is a great filing system and a backup filing system. So maybe you have your paper copies of everything in your office in folders, but also scan everything and keep it in Dropbox or Google Drive, just in case the folders get lost or someone spills coffee on them or something. Have a backup filing system. All of the documents that you have on tenants and on your properties are very important, and you're going to want to keep them forever. You might decide that you don't have time. You might already have a job or two jobs, and you just don't have time to work on properties. So you might decide, I think I'm going to get a property management company. So what should they do for you? Well, some of the things they do for you is they get photos before a tenant moves in, and photos to advertise, because we want two things. We want photos for advertising, and we want photos to document the condition of the home when a tenant moves in. And if that condition looks different when the tenant moves out, we want to have a record of it. We want the property management company to advertise to find tenants, to evaluate the applications of tenants when they come in, to get leases signed, to communicate with tenants, to repair things that don't work. We want a property management company to cut the grass, clean out the gutters, basic exterior maintenance, check on the property so that they could be proactive with maintaining it, change the furnace filters and check the smoke alarms and send reports of income and expenses and the balance in the accounts once a month. We want them to handle taxes and local law compliance and pay utility bills. So when you are interviewing potential property management companies, make sure you are asking all these questions. If you have a short-term rental, STR, meaning like an Airbnb, VRBO type property, they also will need to coordinate cleaning in between renters. They'll need to get reviews, manage check-in and check-outs, refill toiletries, refill the bottled water, check for furniture that needs to be replaced. And there are two nationwide companies that do some of those things, if not all of them. One is called evolve.com. I'll show you their website in a few minutes. They have some really great checklists. Even if you don't end up hiring them, sign up to get their checklists and their guides. They have some really great free material. They're not full service. I've actually been talking with them about handling one of my properties. It's interesting because what they'll do is the Evolve will do the marketing, and they'll put your property on all the sites and help you get renters. And then they'll give you the name of someone local that will do the cleaning. But so then you're kind of talking with both of them. You've got two people that you're working with. You've got your local cleaning company that's also going to do the maintenance. And so you've got to negotiate a deal with them. And then you've got Evolve that's doing the marketing. And so obviously they Evolve charges a marketing fee, and then the local cleaning person charges a cleaning fee. Vacasa is full service. They coordinate everything, but they charge twice as much. So you could talk to both of them. When I talked to evolve.com, the price that they quoted me was like 10% for the marketing fee, but then I also need to go find a cleaning person. And vacasa.com said that everybody's different, but what they would charge me for my property was 18%, but they would do absolutely everything. And I wouldn't have to touch it. So that's the difference there. If you want to take a picture of the screen, you can. Here are some questions to ask if you are considering hiring a property management company. These are all things that it's better to know upfront than 3 months in when there's an issue. You would want to know, like, what are all the fees and who's going to handle taxes, and if what repairs are included, because some places say, well, if a light bulb goes out, we'll change that and we'll change your furnace filters. That's not any extra. But if the air conditioner goes out, and we're going to charge you for that, which I get, right? So we just need to, it just needs to be clear, like, what are my expenses going to be here? And how often do they check furnace filters? Is it once a month, once a quarter, once a year? What about smoke detectors? What about carbon monoxide detectors? And so we just need to know, again, like if I sign up with you, what can I expect? And where do you advertise? Is it just on your website, or is it going to be on like national websites? Is it going to be on realtor.com? Where can I expect this to be advertised? Also, like, do you answer your phone nights and weekends? If there's a non-emergency call, how often is that handled? Because it can be a little bit frustrating if you've hired a property manager and you're still the one getting the phone calls because they can't reach the property manager. Yeah, it happens sometimes. So we just need to have those conversations up front and be aware of those expectations. So hopefully you got a picture of this, and we're going to move on. So you might decide, you know what, maybe I'll just, instead of hiring that property manager for like 18%, maybe I should hire an assistant, and they could also help me with my other job, or they could be my personal assistant too, and they could work with me on my properties. So pros and cons of that. The assistant works only for you. Your properties are their priority, and your properties may not be someone else's priority at a property management company where you're one of 50 or 100 other properties. Your assistant knows the key performance indicators you're trying to hit and can help you find more properties. Your assistant could be easily reached, and you know that the tenant's going to have great communication. You might not know that with a large property management company. And if you have a certain amount of properties, it could make sense to hire an assistant financially. Cons are a salaried employee probably doesn't make sense. If you just have one or two properties, you wouldn't have enough for them to do. And a salary is a fixed expense, even if the property is vacant. Whereas a property management company, you only pay them when it's rented and they hire a renter, or sorry, they find a renter. You might not have enough things for an assistant to do at certain times of the year. You might end up with an assistant that doesn't actually know how to do the things you thought that they could do. And so then you've got someone inexperienced working on your properties. If your assistant is not a licensed realtor, there might be limitations on what they can do and what they can say. So you should find out from the state where you have your properties, what can an unlicensed assistant say and do in that state. So where this fits in the grand scheme of rental property ownership is after you know how many properties that you want to have and where they are. You've calculated all of the expenses that are going to come with owning properties so that you know if you even have the money to hire someone. You know if the properties are profitable. You know what your budget is for your personal life and what your budget is for the business. And you've decided, like, this is where I'm going to buy the properties and the procedure that I'm going to use and how my properties advertised. So you've got your key performance indicators for each property. So that's where this fits in. It's after you do all those other things. Now, these other steps that you see on the screen here are all steps that we get into in that 8-week course that I talked about earlier. So let's look at some of those websites now, and then I'll answer some questions. So the first website I wanted to show you is this one, which is Vacasa. They tell you all of the things that they do. This is that full service one I was telling you about, all of the things that they do. And they charge more than other places, but they also say that they get you more money because of all of the things that they do. Another one is Evolve. I like Evolve's website a lot. So this is the things that they do, and it's evolve.com. And they said that we only make money when you do. They have a 10% management fee. It's really a marketing fee because they, like I said, they don't do they call it boots on the ground stuff. So there's, that's an extra one. But there are some great things about them. And what I really love, like I was saying, is the free tips they give you. Like, this is a free book that I signed up for. And these are some free checklists that I signed up for. And it's really extensive checklists. And they tell you what to buy for each room. They tell you how to stage each room. And all you have to do is put in your email address and they get the checklist. So I like their website a lot. That's Evolve. So as you can see, you might like Vacasa for one thing. You might like Evolve. So it kind of depends on your property and how much time you have and how much effort you want to put into it. let's see, Deal Check is another website I wanted to show you about. This is the website where you can see how your properties are performing. So you put your property details into Deal Check, and you put in like what your expenses are and what your rent is, and then it tells you how you're doing. What's your cap rate? What's your cash on cash? What's your monthly cash flow? And you can evaluate your properties that way. Another website that you might find handy is this Rent Ready website, rentredi.com, and it's rentredi.com. And with Rent Ready, you actually can collect rent and manage the property. They call it an all-in-one property management software for landlords. Identify tenants, manage maintenance. People can submit their maintenance requests, or renters can submit their maintenance requests, and you can send them status updates on how you are helping them. So that is Rent Ready. Another management website that you might check out is Turbotenant.com, and it has the rental management things that you would expect. The application process is on here. Screening the tenants is on here. The rent collection, you can do move in and move out process. You can do expense tracking, maintenance requests. So it's pretty popular because it does so many things. And so you could check that out, turbotenant.com. The site that I was telling you about that's good for landlords that have a large portfolio is this one, Buildium. This is Buildium. So if you're an experienced landlord and you haven't, and you need something that's just a little bit bigger, and your business is too complicated for spreadsheets, you might need something like this. And most of these places have their prices at the top of the page where you can see what their prices are. And the other website that I mentioned earlier for bookkeeping is Stessa. And so this is what Stessa does. It's rental property accounting, and it gives you reports on your properties, tells you how they're doing, because you put your income for each property, your expenses for each property. So this is stessa.com. So depending on where you are in your rental property journey, you might say, I really just need this. I need to be able to compare properties. Or you might say, I really just need that, myrental.com for screening tenants. Or you might say, where I am right now, I think I need something that's all in one. So wherever you are, there are different tools for you. So I hope today was helpful in telling you about some of those tools. If you would like to know about all of the other pieces to buying and owning rental properties, consider coming to our 8-week program, which is this, what you see on the screen. It's Fund Your Big Life with Rental Properties. And we actually have a coupon code for coming today to our webinar. The coupon code is WEB15. You get 15% off the cost of attending our 8-week session, which is $119, which you can use to go buy one of those apps, those website subscriptions. Students that come to our course say it's very helpful and very detailed. They say you could actually use what you learn here for a buy and hold or an update and flip. I go through how to find properties, how to pay for properties, how to make the properties profitable. I'm a very detailed person. I have checklists and numbers and analysis for everything, and I'll show you how I do it. Here is a QR code if you'd like to learn more about the course. And there's also a, as you can see, a website on the bottom, fundyourbiglife.com. And here are the things that you get as part of the 8-week course. You get 8 one-hour sessions. You get our Facebook group that is just for course attendees. So not only do you get to ask questions of the other investors that you meet in that group, but I will also send deals put deals in there that I come across. So, and hopefully other attendees will too. So it'd be great to have some deal trading back and forth. You'll get a 100-page workbook that has all of the information from all of the 8 classes, plus the info on the slides today. And you can either watch the course live, it's on Wednesdays at lunchtime, or you can just watch they're all recorded, so you could always watch them later. And if you want to get some friends, coworkers, a partner, a spouse, just a group of other investors, you could watch it together. That would be fun. So here's that info again. It's fundyourbiglife.com. I'll leave the QR code up on the screen. And I will be available for questions. Just go ahead and put them in the chat. What do you think about using home warranty companies for rental maintenance? So I've heard investors say 2 things about it. One, there's an investor that I work with. It's actually someone that I coach, and she gets home warranties on all of her rentals, and she gives the home warranty information to the renters. So it's like puts it in the house, and she's like, if any of these things go wrong, call this number and then let me know. And she has the renter coordinate that. So like if there's an air conditioning problem, if there's a roof leak, things that the home warranty covers, she has the tenants coordinate that. So that's great. But I have somebody else that says, you know what, I'd rather save the money and just call in repairs when I need it. So someone uses Buildium. Very cool. Does anybody else use a property management app or website that they'd like to talk about? You can take yourself on mute and tell us what you like about it. That's a great point, Tomas. As the owner, you want to know if there's a roof leak. You wouldn't want the tenant scheduling major repairs without you knowing. Yeah. So the person that I'm talking about, she has she does both. She tells them to schedule the repairs with the home warranty company and to let her know. So if you go to fundyourbiglife.com, you will get all of that information about when the next classes are, what the price is, and remember to use that discount code WEB15. Well, I appreciate everyone being here today. So if there are no other questions, have an amazing day, and I hope I see you tomorrow in class for Wealth Building Wednesday. Have a great day, everyone.